Hi, this is Jack. Welcome to States Unlocked. I'm going to get straight into the topic of this video, which is all about using your voice. Now, we all have a voice, and there's a reason we have a voice, because it was designed to be used. If you're in an abusive relationship or you find yourself not expressing your truth, you have an issue with expressing your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions. And usually this is because we were raised in an environment or somewhere along the line we have been in a relationship with somebody who has silenced us and not allowed us to use our voice. They've made us feel like we won't be listened to, we may be punished through abandonment or stonewalling or some of these kind of behaviors, and it's just useless. There's no point in using our voice. So we learn to just keep quiet, and we learn to fawn, and we learn to just be subservient to another person. This is extremely damaging to our psyche, to our mental health, and to our well-being and our general enjoyment of life, because we need to be using our voice so that we are heard, so that we actually communicate our boundaries, our needs, our wants, our desires. If you are not using your voice, I want this video to be a wake-up call to you, because the cost of not using your voice is extremely high. You'll be out of alignment with yourself, you will be very unhappy, and a lot of secondary behaviors can be born from this, okay? So you can become very desperate, very needy, you can feel not worthy, and it can go into all of your different relationships in your life. So this is something you might not be aware of. You might have a really negative relationship with your mother, let's say, and you find that you keep attracting relationships where people aren't really respecting you, or your friends are not really giving you very much, or people are just treating you badly in general. Why would it make sense that if you're not using your voice with your mother to say, no more, I'm not putting up with this anymore, and mean it, that you would be able to do it in other relationships in your life? Your body actually knows when you are betraying it and you are abandoning it. Now, this is not a shameful thing to do. This is something that you've learned to do, but you can completely unlearn it, and it comes with practice. So I want you to notice when someone makes you feel a certain way, you feel uncomfortable with something. Are you saying that? Are you saying, hey, I'm not really that keen on this and I would like you to change? It doesn't mean you need to go gung-ho and start shouting at them or cut them out of your life. Depending on what, the thing that the person's done is, it could be something that you're like, right, see ya, I'm not putting up with that. Or it could just be something where it's like, okay, they might not know. They might not know they're making me feel that way. But that's the reason it's important to use your voice, because if you don't use your voice, how is someone going to know? People get into a lot of problems within their romantic relationships and friendships, any kind of relationship, because they don't express their needs and they magically expect the other person to know what's going on for them. So it could be a case that you've met a second abuser, a third abuser, and they're not going to care. But using your voice is powerful regardless, because if they're not that way, which hopefully they're not, and a lot of people are not that way, they will give you the opportunity to say how you feel, and they will react differently if they're a good person to have a relationship with. So, for example, if you say, hey, in a calm way, you're not being aggressive or anything, but you express, hey, when you did this, it made me feel like this, I would like this from you. And the person dismisses what you have to say, they say, well, I wouldn't feel that way, or like, that's not normal, or they silence you in some kind of way. I would encourage you to run for the hills, because this is not something that you want in your life. This is not someone who is valuing the way you feel and recognizing you as an individual who has the right to their own emotions, their own feelings, and their own mind. Okay, so this is someone that wants you to just completely assimilate. It doesn't mean they necessarily have to agree with you, but to recognize your emotions as valid is something that someone who is psychologically mature can do. Unfortunately, a lot of people that tend to dismiss emotions have not received this modeling growing up, so they have learned that their emotions and the actions of themselves and other people, they're all enmeshed, okay? So they don't actually recognize that you are allowed to have your feelings regardless of what surrounded it. So there could be a situation where you have behaved in a poor way, but your emotions are valid. So your behavior isn't necessarily great, and that's something that needs to be addressed, but your emotions are just emotions. They're just a phenomenon in nature, just like the rain, like the sunshine. They're just something that's happening. So judging them is never particularly helpful, because they have a message for us. And some people will not be able to receive that message. They will not be able to receive that message. And the reason they're not able to is because they are suppressing a lot of emotions in themselves. If someone does not have the capacity to cope with their own emotions, they don't have the capacity to respond to their own emotions appropriately, how do you expect them to have the capacity to respond to yours? If someone has the habit of minimizing their own emotions, dismissing their own emotions, and they don't see the value in it, why would they see the value in yours? They're not going to. And it's really important that you don't allow this, okay? So I say allow this because you cannot control their behavior, but you can control how much you engage with this person in most circumstances, okay? And you can control how much you internalize the other person's actions, words, and behavior. Now, it can be really devastating if it's somebody in your family or someone close to you and they just aren't seeing you. They're not valuing or caring about the way you feel. This, in my opinion, is not love. So love is really difficult sometimes to conceptualize, and people have different ideas of what it is. But to me, it's kindness, it's empathy, it's actually caring about your individual feelings and your well-being, okay? So if someone else isn't caring about this for you, while that can be extremely painful, you need to care about your own emotions. You need to have your own back. Because when you don't do this and you go along with someone that is making you feel this way, they're making you feel invalidated, they don't care, and you are silencing yourself, you are not using your voice, it is a slippery slope, because you are likely to attract more people like this because it affects your energy field and people can pick up on it. And it means that you're not acting in complete alignment with yourself, you're not acting in a way that is congruent with your own values, your own beliefs, and your own emotions. And this could manifest in an illness, this can manifest in multiple relationships where people are disrespecting you, which then reaffirms an idea that you might have of yourself of not being worthy, being defective in some way. You are not defective in any way. You are not defective for having emotions. Anyone that says these kinds of things has issues. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people have issues when it comes to emotions because we're not really taught how to deal with emotions. And when we are taught how to deal with emotions unconsciously through our parents or through society, a lot of the lessons are very unhealthy and unhelpful lessons. So people tell you that actually certain emotions are appropriate, certain emotions aren't appropriate. It's okay to express this, it's not okay to express that. And while we do need this information and this intelligence to function in our society, it wouldn't be smart to be saying to your boss, oh, I'm super angry and all this stuff. It's really important to actually separate out society's expectations and our own feelings, because if we weren't meant to have these emotions, we would not be having them. A lot of the time, I can think of situations in my life where I was ignoring my emotions and they just doubled down in my body. They just got so much more magnified because I wasn't paying attention to them. So one thing I want you to remember from this video is emotions are designed for you to take action in some kind of way. So for example, if you're struggling to make decisions and you don't know what choice you should make and you do nothing, then you're likely to feel anxiety. And then if you feel anxious about the anxiety and you still don't do anything, the anxiety is just going to keep repeating. Your body is looking for you to actually do something so that it can feel heard, it can feel understood, and it can recognize, okay, the threat's gone because this person, myself, has my back, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect myself. This all ties in with using your voice. You have a voice for a reason, you have emotions, you have valid things to say. Unfortunately, if you have a lot of people in your life, and a lot of times this can happen because of the people we attract, that don't validate you, that don't make you feel listened to or heard, it could be a situation where you need to essentially get rid of a lot of different relationships, and it can start to feel, oh, is there anyone that actually values my feelings? Is there anyone out there that's going to really love me? And the answer is hell yes, people will, but it will happen more when you actually start to respect your own emotions and you start to actually honor yourself, use your voice, and it will transform your life. It's not easy if you've been conditioned to keep quiet, and if you've got a lot of things to be fearful of, because you might have experienced violence because of using your voice. You might have experienced neglect or abandonment or anything like that. So that's terrifying. So be kind to yourself in this process. It's not something you have to change overnight. It's going to be difficult to change it overnight, but you can do it. You can start today to express your feelings and notice people's reactions, notice people's responses. I really believe in you. I believe that you can do this. If you're watching this video, you're watching it for a reason. Something drew you to this video. You have the key to unlock your own voice, and I really encourage you to do it. If you've liked this video, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a comment. It would be great to chat with you. Also, if you can leave a like and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell, all that great stuff will really help me out. Thanks so much for watching, and check out my other videos. Ciao for now.